Hello, you're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi. Today is Friday the 4th of January, and here's a couple of comments since my last video. This is my first video of 2019, the year that I hope we can call #The Awakening, the year that we start to make a real change in Ireland towards an Ireland that will put the interests of Irish people first. I see that Viktor Orban attended the swearing-in ceremony of Brazilian President Bolsonaro. A former army captain, in his opening speech, he promised to bash the indoctrination of children in public schools, vowed to defend democracy, and pledged to respect all religious traditions within Brazil's Judeo-Christian tradition. Known as the Trump of the tropics, Mr. Trump congratulated him on Twitter on his election, and using his Twitter page said that the USA is behind you. President Bolsonaro replied, thanking him, saying that under God's protection we shall bring prosperity and progress to our people. I wonder did the L'Oreal Taoiseach or the Champagne Socialist in the Oris send them many messages of congratulation. A study released by the Austrian Integration Fund has revealed that as many as 20% of the Austrian residents are born overseas, with more than half of them from outside the EU. Vienna having 36% of its population born overseas, Turks and Serbs making up the largest migrant groups, with one area of Vienna having a 50% migrant population rate, with the Serbs making up 102,000 and Turks around 77,000 out of a population of 1.8 million, with Muslims at 12%, the second largest religious group. 380,000 ethnic Turks, including Kurds, live throughout Austria. According to the Interior Ministry figures, 1 in every 2 criminals in Vienna has a foreign background, and 40% of all criminal suspects throughout Austria have a foreign background. The ministry also released figures for sex attacks cases totaling 4,700, with Afghans, Turks and Syrians making up the majority of foreign suspects. In the first 6 months of 2017, 261 cases of rape were reported, compared to 374 cases reported for the first 6 months of 2018, an increase of 43%. It has also been reported in Austria media that up to 19 deportations take place every day, with, by the end of July 2018, 7,067 flown out in 45 flights to 15 different countries, including Afghanistan, Pakistan and Georgia, an increase of 40% on 2017. The asylum system in Austria is costing the state 1.8 billion per year, compared to 1.9 spent on military defence. A video has appeared on the Twitter page of David Vance, an alternative media blogger, of a woman being stoned to death in Afghanistan. To see men standing around with rocks in their hands, laughing and chatting, wearing clothes that would suit medieval times, is appalling. I couldn't watch the video, but to think that in parts of the world today this behaviour is still practised. Where are the Me Too movement feminists regarding this? In London, a police investigation into the murder of a security guard outside a nightclub who was stabbed through the heart have charged 26-year-old Imral Kamal, who is the son of the Finsbury Park imam Abu Hamza, an Egyptian-born cleric, extradited to the United States in October 2012 for 11 terrorist charges. In Manchester, the 25-year-old man who stabbed 3 people, including a police officer, in an attack in a train station on New Year's Eve, shouted, "Long live the Caliphate," and then "Allah Akbar," as he was being led away to a police car. A caliphate is an Islamic state under the leadership of a caliph, a person considered to be a religious successor to the Prophet Muhammad and leader of the Ummah or community. Historically, there has been 4 major caliphates since 632 AD, with the Ottoman Caliphate, the last of which ran from around 1517 until after a defeat during World War I and the partitioning of the empire by the French and the UK. On March 3rd, 1924, the first president of the newly formed Turkish Republic, Mustafa Ataturk, from where Turkey gets its name, as part of reforms abolished the institution of the Caliphate and transferred power to the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, with Abdülmecid II being the 29th and last Caliph of the Ottoman Empire. The man who did the attack has been held under offences, Mental Offences Act. Why do these attacks where someone shouts Allah Akbar get special status, with the attacker always being described as having mental issues? UK Home Secretary Sajid Javid questions how genuine the asylum seekers found in the channel are, saying that if you are genuine asylum seekers, why have you not sought asylum in the first safe country that you have arrived in? Can you imagine a member of the Dáil making such a sensible comment? I certainly can't. Also, Gemma O'Doherty did an excellent stream this week about wind farms and the problems faced with rural communities. I was passing through Strokestown earlier on this year, and I noticed up in the hills behind it there were a couple of turbines which took them less than a year to put up. Much of the opposition of the local community didn't want them, but like all things, the government just ran roughshod over them. I'm not a particular believer in this global warming, and I think if you do your own research, especially looking into items such as the Vostok ice core samples in Antarctica, just throw a different opinion on things. And there's an excellent documentary you can get on YouTube called Global Warming or Global Governance, and that's about the global warming agenda being pushed by the UN. And considering the push that they have regarding the global compact, I think the UN really has lost a lot of its credibility. Also this week is the first anniversary of the stabbing of the Japanese man in Dundalk, and I believe that the murderer is still not fit for trial and is held in a mental institution. And also this week I spotted Conan Mack put up an excellent video of a very young Leo Varadkar saying that he is a member of Fine Gael due to the fact that they are pro-Europe stance and liberal enough to suit his own views. Well, what a find there, Conan Mack, well done. Well, that's about it now. I'd just like to say I have a couple of new subscribers. Thanks very much for subscribing. I look forward to your comments. My thoughts are my own. Thanks for listening, and bye-bye.